Alright, right here. Going ahead and getting the V-band mocked up to a couple tacks. Motherfucker. Getting the V-band tacked up to the first 4-inch piece. Now we're going to go grab the other V-band and mock it up to the other piece that's going to be hanging out. Let me grab it. Alright, here you can see we've got another part ready for mock up. This is that other side for the V-band. Go ahead and get it tacked on. Now that we've got these together, I'm going to go ahead and put part of an elbow on this one. Now, what I've done here is I've already made some pie cuts. And then once I had the pie cuts, I tacked them together. These are 15-degree pie cuts. They have varying thicknesses as far as where I have the actual short part versus the long part. And what that does is that changes the radius size. So you can either have a really tight radius or you can have a nice wide radius. A lot of times when you get pipe and you're going to be doing any fabrication with it, you're going to be hearing them as short radius or long radius. But right here, I call this a medium radius. And same with this one. So I'll go ahead, get this one tacked on. Lined up the best I can. And pretty much just doing a fusion weld here on the sides. Now I am using a TIG welder, currently using the shop's TIG 200. It is Lincoln, works pretty damn good, at least so far from what I've seen on DC. Gotta say, I would definitely enjoy using this later on. As you can see, these are roughly the same size, but this eventually is going to get this next piece on here. Problem is I don't necessarily know if it's going to be straight here or slightly turned. That's the reason why I left them in smaller pieces, so that I can make an elbow turn 2 different directions at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead, get these 2 pieces placed back on the vehicle and kind of see where we go from there. Alright, so here what we're going to be doing is a little bit of arts and crafts. As you can see right along here, I've got a whole bunch of pieces of tape, got a whole bunch of different pie cuts, all varying sizes. I've got the first piece of exhaust on here. Haven't necessarily figured out exactly the clocking I'm going to want yet. But what I am going to do is while that's on there, I'm going to go ahead take a couple of these pieces and start getting it wrapped up. Now I want to get a nice tight radius because I have a pretty long radius here to make sure I cleared this and he can get into these parts. But now I want to tightly bring it over because I want to keep it pretty much right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I can go ahead, take my first piece, stick it on there, a little bit of tape, a little bit on top, and a little bit on bottom. I'm going to watch it keep falling off. I'm going to go ahead and take the V-band and clamp this thing on there so that I stay a little bit more centered. Let me take a quick pause, get that on there, and I'll bring you right back. Okay, we're back. We've got the V-band clamps on, as you can see right here. That's going to hold that from falling off. So hopefully we have a few less mistakes as I put this whole thing together. So let's continue with our arts and crafts project. Right here, again, I'm bringing it in as tight as I want. A little bit of tape on top. A little bit of tape on the back side. And we're going to go ahead with another one. Now this is pretty much going to bring us in line with where I want to be. Now, I want to go ahead and start angling it down a little bit as well. So I'm going to go ahead and clock it so the high point is going to be facing a little bit up and not just straight across. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and work on this other side as well. I'm going to go ahead and pan you down. This is where I want this to start curving down and across. Got another 45 degree elbow right here. I don't necessarily just want to bring it straight down. I want to go ahead and curve it a little bit out so that I can start bringing it in line with the entrance to this turbo. So again, piece of tape, get it on there. And see how that looks. Alright, now I have another piece that's already prefabbed. This is going to be a really tight radius. I'm going for 180 degrees here. This eventually is going to come right here, and these things are going to Y together at this point. Now from here, I pretty much need a straight pipe, and this one I'm going to need a straight pipe. What I'm going to want to do is I want this to be about the center point of the engine. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a tape measure, and as soon as I find where I dropped mine, and I'm going to measure that distance out. Alright, so again, we want to put this about midsection in the engine bay. So I'm going to go ahead and look at that and say we need an 8-inch piece. That's roughly what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some 3-inch stock and cut out an 8-inch piece and tape her on. Alright, so went ahead, got us an 8-inch piece cut. We're going to go ahead and line it up there. Now it's putting this down a little bit low. Actually quite a bit lower than I wanted. So it turns out I'm going to want to bring this up about like that. So in order to do that, all I'm going to have to do, rotate this here pipe, bring that across right here, and see what we're looking like. Well, looks like it's pretty much in line with where I want to be. So, since this is going to be a little bit too much length for the tape to hold on, I'm going to go ahead and take this piece back off, give these a few tacks, and then put this stuff together. Alright? See you back over on the welding table. Alright, so we're back over on the welding table. Go ahead and where these are taped up, I'm going to tack off to the side of that so I don't burn the tape. And I can reuse it. I use painter's tape so it doesn't leave a nasty residue. And let's just get going. tack on there. With the side over here. Two. Three. You get this last tack right down here on the inside. It looks like we got a little bit of a gap. So with it sitting just like this, I'm going to use a little bit of that filler rod with this tack. Alright, tack complete. Alright, back for some more arts and crafts time. We've got the 8-inch section put onto that elbow. I ended up having to pivot it up so that when I put this here elbow on there, I'll be able to keep this flowing down. It's obviously going to need a few more of these pie cuts in order to get it facing the same direction as that turbo. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is tape this elbow on here. We're going to add a few more pie cuts and see how she goes. Alright, so see it from the side I've been working on. You can see here now that both of these are kind of facing the same direction as the inlet for that turbo. That ends up being about what I want it to be, I hope. But let's go ahead and throw some 3-inch pipe on here and see about where it's running.